comedy. And when I think about it, you know, that people say, well, you know, because I'm always asked, you know, don't you want to change people's minds with your comedy? No, I just really want to laugh. And what laughter, I think, does is provide a way to step back from whatever situation that you're in. And if you can keep somebody laughing for a long time, it's like it gives them insulation, in a sense, from whatever that pain is. And in that sense, I think it provides the same type of comfort as religion does. And which is why I'm always shocked that the most religious people many times don't have a sense of humor. What's wrong with that picture? Seriously. And you know what irritates me the most about it? And this was something I just thought of. I was talking to Bob about writing books, and that when you write a book, and then a year later you start talking about the book, and then you kind of realize as you're rereading your book, it could have been a better book. But one of the things that strikes me about organized religion is, why do people who have a strong faith and believe in something feel a necessity on any level to try to talk to me about it? Well, you know, because really, in terms of the exchange, you're not being spiritual on any level because you're irritating the shit out of me. And basically what you're doing is you have a need to convince me, not to convince me, honestly, because the impetus I know for what you're doing, because I've dealt with enough of it, is it helps you get high. Because by talking about it, you get high. It's a way to get high. That's part of what religion is. And so that, but if somebody came up and wanted to convert me and started with like 3 jokes about Jesus, I might listen.
How did you, I've always wondered about this, a question from the audience.
Besides yourself, who would you consider to be some really great comedians? And the second part of this is, why is there such a lack of wonderful comedy on TV? There used to be some great comedy shows, and now there seems to be a real lack.
You mean like situation comedies and stuff?
Yeah.
Well, that's because the people who run the industry in Los Angeles are idiots. It's that simple. How do we have 12,000 channels and you sit there going, well, son of a bitch, nothing's on. Literally, you could put a turtle in any of the major networks' rooms and have scripts out, and the turtle would waddle to a script that's as good as whatever you're going to see.
Favorite comics?
My favorite comedians, well, you start with the Marx Brothers and Jonathan Winters and all the guys who had albums in the 60s, George Carlin, Lenny Bruce, Bob Newhart, Shelley Berman, all the guys who were on Ed Sullivan. Those who working now is Kathleen Madigan. If you don't know her, she's one of the great women comics. Susie Essman's very funny. Joy Behar makes me laugh. A guy named Louis C.K., a guy named Dave Attell. There's like hundreds of them. Dom Irrera is a really great. There's some really, really great comics that have been working for 20, 30 years now, and people don't really know who they are.
Out here.
Louis.
Yes.
Louis,
what were you like in high school, and did you go to your high school prom?
Oh, yeah, not only did I go to my high school prom, I was the chairman of the junior prom. What male in 1965 would have the nerve to go, I'm going to run the prom? That's how secure I was in my maleness. But I ran the prom. This was in high school in Maryland, and I ran it because what I wanted to do, I said to the group that basically was going to pick who's going to run the prom, I'm going to run a really cheap prom where it's going to be okay, we'll have everything you got, but it's going to be like just a bit. And then by people paying the money now, next year we'll have the senior prom, nobody will have to pay. And I pulled it off, boy. And what I did, which was the interesting thing, which is why you don't have a man run the prom, is that it was called Showboat. So I put up a lot of brick contact paper, and we went out and got tons of vines and leaves and just, stuff that you put up on the walls, so it looked like Charleston after a flood. And it was, apparently, because I'm not allergic to it was poison ivy. So there was like case after case of it coming out. I was lucky. I had a really well-adjusted, great time in high school. I would have to say that was as good a time as I could have had. I mean, I was neurotic on a lot of levels, but it's just when you compare it to other people who just go,
I think we're coming to the end here. The thing I always teach young reporters, and I tell them, don't ever end an interview without asking, is there something I should have asked you about here? Is there, where do you go from here, Louis? What's important to you right now in your life? And how do you like the way your life has gone so far?
Wow. I mean, I'm serious, this is kind of, hey, look at this. I'm on stage with you. This is getting out of hand. Seriously, they asked me to do congressional correspondence dinner, and I was like, what the fuck, has everybody died? So I'm kind of thrilled with it. I'm very, very lucky. I have, I'm allowed to say whatever I want to say. And it doesn't really seem, it bothers some people, but I don't get a lot of letters. I have just enough celebrity that it's good. The people who seem to come up to me were really nice. I have achieved something that I never would have thought possible as a comedian, and is that I believe in my heart of hearts that in many ways I'm America's #1 family comic. Which is really weird. But I have an audience that goes from 10 to 90. And I'll say to parents who bring like a 10-year-old to one of my concerts, I go, this isn't right. I don't think it's really right. And they go, well, look, he likes you. He likes about 3 people. So we're trying to keep him on track. So for me, it's been, but it really is true. I get families all the time, and I just think that's great. And the fact that I never thought any of this would come to pass. I'm going to be I'll get you a ticket for this. I'm doing the benefit for the USO, and I'm the guy doing it. I'm like the host of the Washington, the largest benefit for the USO this year, which made me think the fact that I've become that mainstream. I'm thrilled, but I don't think it bodes well for the country.
Ladies and gentlemen, Louis Bryant.
Julie.
Well, lay where you're laying. Well, don't make a sound, because I know that they're watching. Yes, they're watching. Well, all the emotion, they're getting not forever.